Christine is a story of teenage love in a Pennsylvania town. I forgot the name of which. What is it? I think it's Libertyville Heights. A young man by the name of Arnie Cunningham falls in love with an old rust bucket of a car. And his buddy Dennis Gilder tries to stop him from buying it. Now, my friend convinced me to read Christine, and it's a thick, repetitive, but also pretty good book. It's not my favorite Stephen King book, and I don't know why. I think maybe if I read a couple of his other books first, I would have felt differently, or I don't know. It's a story from before I was born, and I read another novel of King's about a car, Mr. Mercedes, and I really liked it a lot. This was a. I mean, when you read this, if you read other King books, you'll be like, yeah, it's a Stephen King book. It's pretty good. But for me, it just, you know, it was a little long and a little repetitive, but it was good, and it had a lot of you know, focus on different characters. It's more than just about these two guys in this car that is possessed, and then it turns out that there's like, I mean, there's not just one. I mean, you know, it's kind of the car that's, you know, lethal and killing people, but there's a couple forces behind it. Is it? And then you start thinking, well, is it the wife who happened to kill herself in the car with a hose and do the I think it's called carbon monoxide, or I think it's carbon dioxide poisoning, or is it the you know, is it this old man who haunts the car who was the husband of that wife? Is it the child who died choking near the car? And then slowly the mystery unravels, and it's never fully explained. It's kind of like, you know, it's best left a mystery, but the mystery slowly unravels. And what about this book? What's different? I would say that it had pretty good descriptions of a Pennsylvania town and bullying, and a character named Buddy Repperton was probably the best character in this book, just because the descriptions of him, and in the movie as well. If you see the movie isn't very good. It's like a Saturday Night Live version of the book, but in the movie and in the book, Buddy Repperton is pretty solid as a character. And what Buddy does is basically he trashes Christine. He smashes up the car and gives Christine a whole lot of reason for revenge. And he's basically just a bully who pushes people around school, pushes Arnie Cunningham in school. Arnie Cunningham is you know, he wears glasses, and he had real bad acne, and then he finds this old rust bucket car, Christine, and as my friend told me like half the book is just like describing the auto maintenance on the car, and that's true, it is. But like I remember what he said, and it's also kind of like the backstory, and but then again it repeats a lot. So I'm like, well, I mean, but it kind of does to kind of remind you what's going on the whole time. I thought it was a little much, but it was, you know, I didn't mind it, and it goes into a lot of how this kid Arnie is obsessed with fixing up his car, and like he doesn't want any saying anything negative about his car. He calls it a she, like his car is like a girl, and you know his girlfriend gets jealous of the car, and well, I gotta say anyway, I gotta wrap it up, and it's a solid book. So if you're ever gonna watch the movie, just don't even really waste your time, unless you just think that like you want to read the book first, then go do that. And just be aware, like the movie is like the Saturday Night Live version of the book. Like there's a few moments in the movie that are like really awesome, but then they kind of ruin it, and you go, why'd they do that? And you know, I don't know. It's not like, doesn't have the details of the book that make it great. Anyway, yeah, I wish I had more to say about Christine, but really, to me, is like kind of like a Stephen King novel. It's good. It's not great. There's other ones I prefer, but I mean, I can't diss this writer, man. Stephen King is like he's my favorite right now until I find another author I like more, and it's definitely, if you like Stephen King books, it's in the canon. You got to read it, but like, it's a big novel, man. But you get past the second half of the book, and it's awesome. And I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, have a good night.